Hi, my name is Jen Givan, and I am a Chicana author. You've probably never heard of me. I'm not in any of your school textbooks, but I have been writing my entire life since I was a little girl. And writing in Chicana and Chicano literature are the reason that I'm alive today. They're the reason that I was able to raise my two children who are now 15 and 18. And they're the reason that everybody I meet, I tell, you have a story to tell. You have something inside of you burning brightly, and your voice matters and is important. And it took forever for me to get published. It took until I was in my 30s to get my, I've literally been writing since I was a little girl. And it took into my 30s to get my first poetry books published. I've published 5 poetry collections. And it took 10 years for my first novel that I had written when my daughter was 9 months old and I was nursing her. And I would wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and just start writing my novel during NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, because I had a story that I had to tell and I had birthed a daughter and I did not want to inflict the generational trauma on her, the cultural, social trauma that I had gone through. And I knew I needed to write my heart out onto the page. And I'd never written a novel before, but I knew that I had a story to tell. And in 1 month during the National Novel Writing Month, I did it. And now to this day, my daughter will tell me that her favorite sound in the whole wide world is like a lullaby to her. It's the tapping of keys on a keyboard. That's what she heard when she was growing up. And it's the reason that we're here today. My son is working on becoming an actor. My daughter is a writer. She's doing well in high school. She's a national honors student. And all of that is possible because of Chicana and Chicano literature. So when I was 19 and a survivor, my older brother, Paul, told me about Sandra Cisneros was reading at the Santana Public Library. So I went and listened to her. And it was like I was home. She was talking about her antepasados, her ancestors who spoke through her. And I was like, oh, those are all the voices that I've been hearing all this time. La Llorona calling me to the water and mis antepasados saying, no, mija, you have a story to tell. You have work to be done here. Sorry. I told my daughter about the TikTok. I call it the tiki-talkie. And the person who was saying, Chicano authors, I don't want to read your work. We don't need your work. And it's like such a betrayal. Me and my family are here today because of you, Chicano authors, because of you, readers, familia, gente, counselors, therapists, teachers, mis maestros, who know how important all of our stories are, no matter what they are, no matter how similar they are to each other. Telling our stories, it's the most important thing in the world, and we need to never stop. I didn't mean to cry. La Llorona. Y la Gritona, because sometimes we also need to scream our stories. I want to share with you some of the stories that have meant so much to me. Besides Sandra Cisneros, of course, Woman Hollering Creek, Ana Castillo, So Far From God. She's writing here in New Mexico where I am, but I grew up in Southern California in El Valle, on Mexicali border, down by the Salton Sea. But I've been here for 15 years in New Mexico, and Ana Castillo's story of mother-daughterhood and the ecological crisis that has been wreaked upon our land and upon our bodies instilled me with so much hope and spirit and life and magical realism. Speaking of magical realism, Vanessa Angélica Villarreal, highly recommend her poetry and this memoir. It's amazing. She grew up in Texas on the Rio Grande Valley, and she's just amazing. Oh, this one is just for fun. Chicano Bakes by Esteban Castillo, and I just love the recipes in here. This one is Pedro Niguez. He's a horror writer, and he's actually won the Bram Stoker Award for Mexicans on the Moon, which is poetry. He has children's books out. He has horror books out. Just, we Chicanos are doing so many things, blurring, crossing genres, making up our own genres. It's incredible. Oh my goodness. Luis Alberto Urrea. Love his work. He's El Maestro. This is The Devil's Highway. I love all of his books, and he actually called my book The Great Mexicali Novel. That was my second novel, the first one that I'd ever written, the one I was telling you about, working on during NaNoWriMo. This one is by Estrella Gonzalez, and this one is Chola Salvation. I read another one of her books as well. This one is also near and dear to me. This one's by Ruiz, The Border Between Us. And he also has The Valley of Shadows and so many other books. And he's amazing. I just love this author. This one is Laura Davila. And this is Mexican magic. And it's a memoir and also a history of magic on the border. And now I'm going to share with you my books. So this would be like my Chicana girl on the train. I write stories for us. I include us in the larger narrative. This one is River Woman, River Demon, and it's a murder mystery about a bruja here in New Mexico. That one takes place in Los Lunas. This one is Trinity Site, and it's an end of the world with a twist. And again, a Chicana who's the anthropology professor at the helm of this motley crew trying to survive and what is going on in New Mexico. This is the one I was telling you about, the first one that I ever wrote, Jubilee. And this is kind of a Bildungsroman. It's my coming of age story. And it is very close to my heart about growing up on the Mexicali border as a poet and how literature saved me. And you'll see that like Sandra Cisneros saves La Bee in this book and that she's here today. She stepped down from the chair and kept on living because of Chicano literature. I'm crying again. Oh, I just love you so much, mi gente, and our stories. This is my newest one, Salt Bones, and this is my love song to Chicanos on the border. This is my love song to our communities, to why we matter, why our existence matters, and why telling our stories and listening to our stories matters. This one is about the Salton Sea down. This one is about, I have Frida Kahlo behind me. I have Frida Kahlo behind me, giving me courage. So this one is about the Salton Sea, where I grew up. It's drying up, and 100 years of pesticide use and the crop dusters that would just fly over us all the time would fly over the migrant workers in the fields, just throwing their dust, their poison atop of us. And now the lake is drying up and releasing toxic chemicals into the air like arsenic and DDT. And most of the population has asthma and can't breathe. And when activists went up to Sacramento and had asked for help, they overheard some of the politicians there saying, well, no one lives down there anyway. But of course, the population is mostly Latino, is mostly Chicano, Mexican American, and indigenous. And a Latino Chicano community brings in $1 billion of revenue each year in agricultural revenue. And yet, most of the people are living well under the poverty level. We still exist. We're featured in Abandoned America. The Salton Sea is in Abandoned America. But America, don't abandon us. Don't abandon our stories. And fellow Chicanas and Chicanos, fellow Latinos, don't abandon us and our stories. Instead, advocate for telling more of our stories. Like I said, you probably had never heard of me. I'm not in your school textbooks. And that's okay. Or mis amigos y amigas that I just shared with you. Read our stories. Share our stories with your friends and family. Ask your libraries to order our stories. Tell your stories. You will be the reason that someone stays here and builds a life and builds a community and uplifts other people. Never stop telling your stories. You matter. You matter to this world. I love you. Te amo, te quiero. Y un abrazo muy fuerte. Besos.